All right, we move to another presenter. We have Dessy, Karmila, Sari. Could you share your screen?
Bisa.
Okay. Dessy Karmila Sari from Universitas Lambung Mangkurat with the title An Analysis of Illocutionary Act Produced by Lecturer in Online Classroom Interactions. Oh, so you will do the research about locutionary in the online classroom, right? Okay, Dessy, this time is yours to present your presentations.
Okay, thank you for moderator. My name is Dessy Karmila Sari, and today I will present the research under the title An Analysis of the Illocutionary Act produced by the lecturer in online classroom interaction. Okay, let's go to the introduction. Along with the title, the Illocutionary Act that produced by the lecturer in online classroom interaction. So in the process of the interaction, the speaker shared the information, then the listener interpreted them into meaning. So in the process of the interaction, both of the speaker and the listener, they will share the information. So the interaction can occur anywhere, including in the area of university, especially in the classroom. So in the learning process, the lecturer has a goal to reach the target in the learning process, but it will be reached if they have a good interaction with the students. So this is the use of the speech act. In the speech act used as the medium in the medium for the verbal communication. So when the lecturers and the students have the interaction, they will use the types of the illocution, the speech act. So the interaction is plays important role in improving students' ability and communication. So this is as the result, as the reason why the researchers want to analyze the types and the function of the illocutionary act that are produced by the lecturer in online classroom interaction. So this is the research questions and the objective of the research. In the research questions, there are two. The first is about what are the types of illocutionary act produced by the lecturer in online classroom interaction. And the second is what are the functions of illocutionary act produced by the lecturer in online classroom interaction. While in the objective of the research, there are two. The first is to figure out the types and figure out the function of illocutionary act produced by the lecturers in online classroom interactions. Okay, next is about the significances of the research. So what actually the benefit from this research? The first is about to give the contribution on the theory of pragmatic, especially in speech act theory. And the second is to help the lecturer and to enhance their teaching efficiency by first reflecting of examining of how illocutionary action are used in their teaching process. And the last is to enrich the knowledge of the researchers about the speech act, especially the speech act produced by the lecturer in online classroom interaction. So this to support this research, the researcher provide some review of literature. The first is there are classroom interaction. Classroom interaction happen when the lecturer produces the utterance and they attend some purposes and action. And then there is online learning. Online learning is the learning that involves technology, included chat, web, or audio conference. And then the speech act. According to you, speech act is an action delivered via speaker's utterance. There are three kinds of speech act. There are illocutionary act, and then perlocutionary acts. The last is the context. Context is as the background knowledge that the speakers and the listeners should have, so they can understand each other if they have the same context. So there are some previous studies the researchers did before. There are three, and then this is the research of methodology. The first is this research use the descriptive qualitative because this research want to deeply what actually the function and the type of illocutionary act reproduced by the lecturer in online classroom interaction. And then the subject of the research is the listening and speaking for general communication and advanced grammar lecturer of English Department of Lambung Mangkurat University. And then for the instrument of the research, there are recorder, observation, and then the interview. So while in the data resources, there are the lecturer's utterance. So this research only focus with the lecturer's utterance to limit this research. And then to get the result of the research, there are technique of collecting the data. First, the researchers will observation the class, and then while observe the class, the researchers also like recording the class, and then transcribe the every utterance that the lecturer produced, and then interview the subject of the research. And then for the technique of analyzing the data, the researchers did the data reduction. Data reduction means for example, in the middle of the lesson, the lecturers get a phone from somebody, so and then they talk each other. So the utterance that produced by the lecturers during on the phone it will not included in the research. And then data display after the reduction of the data, and then the researchers display the data into the information table. And after that, after the data display, and then the researchers conclude the research. And this is the result of the research. The first result is about the types of illocutionary act. So in this result, the researchers divided them into three activities. The first is opening activity, while activity, and the closing activity. In the opening the activity, the lecturers produce three types of illocutionary act. There are expressive, directive, and representative. In the while activity, the lecturer produced four types of illocutionary act. There are expressive, directive, representative, and commissive. While in the closing activity, the lecturers produce three types of illocutionary act. There are directive, expressive, and representative. So the next is the types of illocutionary act function. The researchers also divided into three activities. In the opening activity, the lecturer produces competitive. There are the competitive of ordering, questionings, and requesting, and convivial, pricing, and thanking. In the while activity, the lecturer produces competitive. There are ordering, questioning, and requesting, and convivial, pricing, and thanking. And the last is collaborative. There are stating. And the last is closing activity. In the closing activity, the lecturer produces the function of illocutionary act. There are the function. The first is competitive, and then convivial. So this is the conclusion of the research. The first is there are four types illocutionary act produced by the lecturers. They were directive, expressive, representative, and commissive, with the directive as the types of illocutionary act mostly by the lecturer. So in the types of illocutionary act, while in the opening, while activity and closing, three of them, the most frequently that the types of precautionary act that produced by the lecturer is directive. And then while in the function of the illocutionary act, the lecturer produces three functions. There are competitive, convivial, and collaborative, with the function of competitive was the most dominantly used by the lecturers. So for the suggestions for this research, this is for the lecturer. With this study, the researchers hopefully that the lecturer to enrich the knowledge about the teaching language, especially the types of illocutionary act and the function. Because as we know that in the interaction in the classroom, the lecturers have an important role to deliver their information and deliver their knowledge. So the lecturers hopefully use an appropriate and many variations of speech acts to activate the students' knowledge. And for other researchers, because this research is usually limited with the only analyze the lecturer's utterance. So with I hope the further researchers will to carry out the similar researchers to analyze more about the aspect of phonetic, especially that speech act that usually used maybe speech act that produced by the students probably. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dessy, Karmila, for the informative presentations.